William here. I just thought I'd explain that there is actually an incident going on in the Arch Linux world that's talking about how there's been two incidents. One was a malware incident that involved over 1,500 plus Arch AUR packages that were containing malware. But then Arch Linux gets a double whammy yesterday, and this article is written by Michael Larabelle in Arch Linux on 15th of June 2026 at 12:43 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I'll just read this one. This one's not that very long, but this one's short. After days of dealing with 1,500 plus packages in the Arch Linux AUR containing malware, the latest headache in the Arch Linux user repository is Russian spam and offensive messages. Nicholas Boyshot, with his AI LLM detection bot, detected some questionable messages appearing in the AUR content. Russian messages were being added post-install to the bash rc zshrc fish configuration, etc., containing offensive messaging. Those comments have happened on the 14th after the recent malware fiasco, the commits itself. And then over the past day, reporting on dozens of AOR packages having similar Russian messages containing offensive language. This one I will read here. It says here, this is in Russian, but there's the translation of it. It says, you're a bleeping moron for using that piece of bleep Kali distro. Kali Linux is Debian based. Install a proper distro and stop embarrassing yourself, or at least stop using the AUR for bleep. Be grateful I didn't inject you with actual malware and just added a console reminder instead. Happy Pride Month. Use new Cord RAC and co-proxy by Mr. Sagoma. Download the new Albanian virus from Russia. So some person, I should say some idiot decided to do that, spam the offensive message in there, which I don't know why would they do that, but that's very annoying. That's the secondary headache that Arch Linux gets hit with. The latest update on that thread indicates more than 70 AUR packages having this Russian spam offensive messaging. Among those various Python packages, Ruby packages, llama.cpp, and others. At least the AI LLM bots are proving helpful here by proactively picking up on some of the AR abuses until the fundamental situation can be better handled. There's that. So there's that incident that Arch Linux got stung with after the malware incident of the AUR, and here's another one. This one right here also went wild in the Arch Linux online, went wild quick. I'll give you the TLDR. It says here Arch Linux now believes that the malware incident under control more than 1,500 affected packages. Michael Larabelle written both articles. This one's written on June 12th, a few days ago. The day started out with Arch Linux AUR user contributed repository seeing more than 400 packages compromised with malware. Now, in ending out the day, they believe all affected commits have been addressed, but it ended up being more than 1,500 affected packages. It was bad enough when finding out more than 400 AUR packages from Arch Linux users have been infected with malware, but now the number has risen to around 900 a few hours ago, and now at the end, more than 1,500 user contributed packages. In an update a few hours ago, it was believed that around 900 packages were infected by malware in this week's incident. Then, as of writing now, the last message in the thread over the security incident is noting that Arch Linux developers have deleted all the malicious commits they are aware of. Cited was this list that puts the number of malware-affected packages at 1,579, 1,500 packages. Ouch. Tons of software in this user-maintained Arch Linux user repository were impacted by this nasty security incident. This ain't the first time the Arch Linux AOR has gotten hit. Nope. Even at 1,579 packages listed, the final updated noted it's a list containing many but not all of the affected packages. Ouch. So basically, Arch Linux has had a bit of a double malware, or at least had a malware attack once before involving Google Chrome and Mozilla Firefox AOR packages that I remember hearing about online and seeing online about. But now here we go at June where Arch Linux AUR gets hit by another wave. And then Here's another previous one. It was June 14th, where I'll read this one written by Michael Larabelle, and it says just a day after Arch Linux developers believed that they got malware incident under control of 1,500 post packages affected by the malware. Affected by malware. Another round of AUR malware is now being discovered. This latest round is more sophisticated, is with code obfuscation to better conceal the intent. Last night, another round of malware on Arch AUR packages was reported by developer A821. Various Node.js packages, a Plasma 6 applets package, and some Firefox packages, the Aura browser, LibreWolf extensions, and a Neo Vim plugin, and various other packages were all found with malware via obfuscated code. Shortly thereafter, A821 reported back the affected packages were taken care of. Hours later, Nicholas Boyshot reported more malware in AUR packages. Boyshot discovered that those latest malware bits using a local Gemma E2B AI model. The new malware attempt in AOR was described as a bit more elaborate, obfuscating the action around the bun command. At this stage, it is a bit surprising they don't completely shut down the AOR until they can better verify the security and safety of this user-supplied repository, at least implement new safeguard on changes. So there's that. So that's that part. And on another note, on DistroWatch, hold on. And here is another bit of a blast to the past. A developer revives Arch-based Antergos distribution. Antergos, an Arch Linux-based distribution, was discontinued in 2019 after some 7 years of development, has been revived as a community project called Antergos Next. Antergos Next is a modern revival of the Antergos Linux distribution, which was discontinued in 2019. Built on Arch Linux with Arch ISO, it features a fixed and maintained CNCHI installer with Python 3.1 compatibility, 522 verified packages, and KDE Plasma as a default desktop environment. Antergos Next includes everything you need: a fully configured KDE Plasma desktop with the same defaults. Surf the web, listen to music, watch videos, and just reboot and enjoy. The new Antergos project maintains its own website while the code is provided on its GitHub repository. The initial ISO image was released earlier today and is available for download from SourceForge. The 3.7 gigabyte image boots into a standard KDE Plasma desktop. So basically, this old distribution called Antergos, I remember seeing it a long time ago that was Arch-based, was discontinued by 2019. But this is what it looked like earlier. This is a discontinued Arch, but however, there is a respin of it. But this is it. This is the Arch distribution right here, Antergos, that was discontinued but been revived again by a developer. It began life in 2012 under the name of CineArch, combining the Cinnamon desktop with the Arch Linux distribution. Later, the project moved on from its original goals and started offering several other desktop options. The distribution halted all development in 2019 and was briefly revived in June 2026 as a community project called Antergos Next, not affiliated with the original development team, but discontinued again shortly afterwards. Oof. So that was very, very brief. Wow. So that's all I have to say. See you next time. Bye bye.